Brought to you by Lister Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV, and today we're at Guild Mortgage in Tucson, Arizona. Sorry, I almost forgot where I was. We're here with Donna Reed of Keller Williams.
Southern Arizona.
Southern Arizona. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining me.
Thanks
on
for having
Real
me.
Estate Pros. So for those watching the show that don't know who you are, Donna, we'll give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself.
Okay.
You know, maybe your background, even pre-real estate, and then what interested you getting into real estate, and
That's way more than a couple minutes.
all right. Just,
Okay. So, thanks. I've been in real estate since 2005. I got into it in Tucson when the market was crazy.
booming.
Yeah.
It was booming,
Yep.
and you stayed through, huh?
I did, and I had friends who needed help at that point, so I came on as a buyer's agent. And prior to that, I had been booking professional speakers for events. So that I've sort of always been in sales from the time of selling Girl Scout cookies, you know. And as the market was rising, 2006, 2007, I went on my own. I left the woman I was helping in the team who had mentored me, and then the market crashed, and it was perfect timing, you know.
Yeah.
And but I've been fortunate and really blessed that through it all, I've continued to do more business every year since I've been in the business.
Really?
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of agents probably can't say because they experienced the dip. But I guess you weren't in there like for too long when it was booming. It was booming, then
Right.
it kind of dropped a little bit. Were you working REOs at that point?
Well,
of
I
time,
think
or
everybody
short
was.
sales,
I think
or-
everybody was doing some of it, and short sales were sort of the game across the board, and the banks and lenders were even learning what they were doing. So it was quite an interesting time. I used to tell a friend, she said, "What do you need? What do you need?" And I said, "I need buyers with money." You
Yeah,
know,
right.
Because, you know, it was such a precarious time. But every day is new, every year is new, every experience is new. There's nothing short of the people and the relationships that are the same in
Right.
real estate.
So what made you want to? What interested you in real estate?
Partly,
You went from selling Girl Scout cookies into real estate. Is that how it worked?
yeah, it was just
out?
like
No.
that. It was just transition
Hey,
overnight.
you know.
No, I sort of always wanted to do real estate, but I'm from a town of about 500 people back in Ohio. It was funny that the other guy was from Ohio
Cleveland.
earlier
You
today.
a Cavaliers fan too?
Well,
No.
I'm from a town of about 500 people, so
gotcha.
half of them are
Cornhuskers?
Cleveland.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So I wanted a flexible schedule. I wanted to be able to work when I wanted, put the energy in when I wanted, and to be paid what I was worth and what I wanted to earn. Real estate allows you all of that. You work hard, you can make a good living. There's nobody saying, "Oh, Donna, you don't make as much today as this person over here," or whatever. And I had run a bakery for years, and I was going to work when the drunks were going home. So I had punched that time clock, and at 3 in the morning or 4 in the morning, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And nobody looks at real estate at 3 in the morning.
Right.
So I just I had a friend that asked because she was very busy. It was kind of the right time to get my license and transition.
Sure. And we know when you're getting into the real estate business, there's a lot of different avenues you can take. You could be the king of open houses. You can do horse properties. Or we're talking about there's a lot of little niches.
Yep.
Or some people want to just do everything. But
Right.
talk to us a little bit about the niche that you chose and why you chose it and why it's a good fit.
You're exactly right. I think, real estate is one of those industries where you can go to school, you come out, you have this certificate, and then it's like, okay, now what?
Right,
where do
right.
I go or what do I do? And people choose. Starting out, they just want to make a living, right? But as time goes by, you sort of choose what's important to you and what you love and where you feel like you can be the best fit. So for me, I love international travel and I love speaking French. So French might
Did you
seem...
grow up in Ohio and you speak French?
Yeah, and I took German in high school. My German teacher will probably watch this.
Yeah.
She knows that I remember only the first thing I memorized in ninth grade and nothing else. But I love the French language. I love the sound of it. I love the country, and it's just one of those weird things. If I believe in reincarnation, I think I lived there in another life.
Yeah.
So people, Tucson is, eclectic. We have people from all over, and clearly if you speak Spanish, it's great. I speak vacation Spanish, and I understand more than I speak. But with French, I'm a member of the Alliance Française, which is actually just down the road here. And periodically people call, and they would like to have a realtor who speaks French. And I think in our brain, we think only France, but no, it's Quebec, it's Belgium, it's African nations, it's, all over the world. And so we have a number of those people here. A few weeks ago, the Alliance Française got a phone call from someone who had needed a notary who spoke French because they had a document from France that needed to be able to be read by a notary. So you just never know. And for me, it gives me the opportunity to do and use a language that I love and aid people who, often there's one in the family or the relationship who speaks English pretty well, but then there'll be another one, a partner who doesn't. I just had dinner with clients. They are here from Quebec. They bought 9 years ago. They were my first French-speaking clients. They're here 2 or 3 times a year. I visited them last year in Quebec up in their home. And so it's...
So we know Quebec is like very French-speaking. Do they speak English too? Or is it like...
There's different parts of... If you go to
like
old...
thick accent.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Quebec City, they speak predominantly. And there was, when I was there in the fall, there was actually a school that was on, kind of a field trip. And the kids were all speaking French. If you were in Montreal, it's a much more metropolitan, cosmopolitan city, so more of them are speaking English. So, and it's different than France French, and it's different than Belgian French.
Right.
It's a different accent, it's a different voice, and trust me, I have to listen really closely to what they're.
Has it been like a lifelong passion of yours around the French language?
So I don't know if you're familiar. There's a group called Up With People, which is an international singing group, and I traveled with them when I was 18.
Oh, okay.
And my roommate in Mexico was Belgian, and so we were taking French words and trying to figure out Spanish in this home we were living in. And at that point, I remember loving hearing the sound of the language. And so when I came back to college, I studied French at that point. Didn't use it a lot, and then I studied in France in 2012, and since then I've been pretty proactive.
So having that niche in real estate, how do you find French customers, or is it more like referral based?
Yeah.
Oh, I know this agent that speaks French, and
it is, and now I have 2 or 3 friends at the Alliance Française who I've sold homes to.
Oh, okay.
So they actually can be a referrer, and it isn't. It's maybe 20% of my business, but it might account for 1.5 or 2 million in sales.
Wow.
Which is still well worth it, right?
Right.
And if I only do one, it's still okay, you know.
Yeah.
And they become friends, and I just enjoy that. So predominantly referral. I'm also big on Facebook. I do use Facebook a lot, and Keller Williams now has offices in France.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to make sure I tag those guys on this video, because we have a great referral intranet with agents around the world, and there's probably 5 or 6, maybe even more offices in France right now.
Right, and we know there's a lot of strategies, or you mentioned Facebook, is what you focus on. There's a lot of ways to go about marketing yourself as a real estate agent on social media. Talk to us a little bit about maybe the strategies, or how you help sell homes or find buyers, or how do you utilize Facebook to grow your real estate business?
I have both a business page and a personal page.
Okay.
And I do have a lot of friends on Facebook, and I have sold several homes here from people who were friends 40 years ago, whose parents lived here. I sold one to a daughter who moved here. So I think that having that outlet of social media reminds them what I do. And if we didn't have that, I wouldn't be calling those people from 40 years ago across the country saying, oh, good morning. By the way, do you remember I'm a realtor? So for me, it's been a really good outlet. And I have Instagram and I have Twitter, and I don't use those very much. I don't know that much about it, but I also do have a company that helps me with with my posts on my business page. And I do a lot of Facebook Live. So
wow.
on my vacation I took last year, I took videos at homes in Kansas that had been renovated. I took a video of the home that I was in Facebook Live in Quebec. Here I was at this house where you have the sharp blades so that the snow can come off.
Right,
we don't
right.
deal with that.
Yeah.
And then I took a video of a home in Northwest Ohio that had been built by a friend of mine almost 50 years ago, and showed the updates. So it's kind of talking about the similarities and the differences around the world in what we do. A trend is a trend is a trend,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But certain places, certain countries, they don't have clothes dryers everywhere. So you're like, this is the clothes dryer. It's a rack on the patio,
Right.
right? And here we are. We live in the desert, and people use clothes dryers instead of clotheslines. So
Right.
Yeah.
So kind of taking the interesting avenue around real estate and using that to your advantage, while at the same time, using it to stay in contact with your sphere of
Correct.
influence, which are all important from a real estate agent because,
Yeah.
obviously you want to stay that number one or number two person that people think about whenever they're
Correct.
looking to sell or buy a home. And that's just a way to stay in front of those people,
Yeah. And the statistics show, and I probably should never quote exact numbers, but when you close a deal, if you've been successful with the person you've worked with, usually about 97% of people say they would work with you again. And the truth is that 7 to 10 years later, or whatever the average is, only about, I want to say, 7% do, because they've forgotten you. So you absolutely need to stay in touch. And for some, that's parties. For some, I heard pop-bys. Everybody has different things they do.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's what's nice about real estate. Like you said, if you don't like cold calling, you don't have to do it. You could sustain a business by doing open houses. You can,
Yep.
your sphere of influence. You can,
They
take
hire
your niche
you.
of French.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They hire
Yeah.
you, and just being out in front of them and being that person that they want to do business
Right.
with and
Right.
somebody that they know, like, and trust. So
I was just going to say that. I was going to say they have to know, like, and trust you.
Exactly.
Nice job, Jordan.
There it is. All right, Donna. So if somebody watching this, maybe a real estate agent, want to reach out and ask you some questions, or maybe a potential buyer or seller, how do people go about getting a hold of you?
So my phone number apparently is all over the internet, right? And it's 520-631-4638. 631-4638. And my website is Donna at Reed Tucson, or my email, Donna at Reed Tucson. My website is Reed Tucson, TUCSON.
Right.
.com, because many people don't find that and spell it correctly.
Right.
So, yeah.
Sweet. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day, Donna, and
Thank you.
Educating us a little bit about your niche and how all that works and how you got it. Was an interesting interview. So thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking time out of your day.
Thanks for
We
having
will
me.
see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you.